through now.
Sure.
And Stevens said, "Hey, Ankush and Amir, I would really like to talk about what is a strong coaching agreement. I'm putting together a coaching agreement ready for tomorrow, and I really appreciate it if you talked about that for a while. So excited. This is new territory for me. Best wishes, Stephen Heath."
Cool. Do you want to start? Then I'll.
Yeah. So I'll go first. For me, a strong coaching agreement is a living thing. So I used to think a strong coaching agreement was like a written document, and I had one, right? It was like, okay, this is my document. I'm going to write loads of stuff in it. I'm going to get the client to sign it, and that's that's what it is. And instead, what I started to see was an agreement is two people, real people, agreeing a way of working together, right? So that might involve having something written down, but for me, it goes beyond that. It's not like, here are my terms, please sign it. And what I see is that an agreement is that it's an agreement. It's not telling someone what to do. So when I work with a client, an agreement means we both agree something. Now, if a client goes, well, I want to coach whenever you're ready, and at midnight you need to be available to talk to me, that doesn't mean I have to do that. As an agreement, I might say, well, that doesn't work for me. This is what I can do. This is what I can do. What do you want? If they both agree, then we have agreement. And if we don't, then we don't. And so a strong coaching agreement is where there is that agreement between two parties. And for me, it's a real living thing, because what I found is, as I've worked with clients, there tends to be things that come up in that coaching relationship where they've got a different understanding of the agreement than I have. Right? And that's a really useful opportunity for us to talk about that again. And so for me, like, agreements really underpin the work that I do, and to me are part of the skill set of being a coach. And that's kind of just what comes up at the top of my head. There's a whole load of things I could add, but I'm interested in what you've got to say, Amir.
I'm going to pull something out. But you literally hit it on the nail. I was like, man, he took my lines out of my mouth. But I want to show you guys something. This is not this. Where is it at? It's in here. It's my wedding certificate. Okay. It's my wedding certificate that I got from the County of San Diego when my wife and I got married. That tells you nothing about my marriage. Absolutely nothing. It tells you that we got married, but doesn't tell the quality of our marriage. It doesn't talk about how we resolve fights. It doesn't say anything. It just says you got married. My marriage started as soon as I met my wife. It's the first date, the first text message is when my relationship towards my marriage started to happen. What people think, and that's why I think there's so many divorces, they think the marriage resolves creates a healthy relationship. The relationship creates the healthy relationship. So the biggest agreement that you can create with your clients is the first conversation you have starts the agreement. How are you showing up with the first conversation? How is the second conversation? What kind of agreements have you created when you had the first hour call? Did they show up late? Did you show up late? How did you resolve that? By the time you get to the end where they pay, you've already created a client. It's almost like the agreement to me is secondary. It's actually just formalities if we ever do. You know what my agreement is? Send me $5,000 to my PayPal account. Thank you very much. I'll see you next Tuesday. That's my agreement for them to pay me. But what's really, really important in my coaching relationship is starting the relationship from the beginning and making it powerful and having them understand where you're coming from and having you understand where they're coming from the beginning. Then there is no conversation about, well, I didn't know this 3 months down the line. I didn't know when I signed up that you're going to say this. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see people making. They think the coaching starts once they have the paper or once they've paid. Well, at that point, if you don't know who the other person is, you're in big trouble. And I don't know if that makes sense for you, Ankush.